I think we're ready to start. If we can have all the videos on. Please soften the music. We're ready to start. Fade the music out and we're ready to start, please. May I request all teachers and parents who are attending to kindly switch their videos on.
According to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the purpose of education is to make good human beings with skill and expertise. Enlightened human beings can be created by teachers. Changes in the education policy is a major way to provide the nation better students, professionals, and better human beings. A very good afternoon, dear parents. The National Education Policy 2020 has been announced. The target is to implement it in CBSE schools by 2035. The NEP 2020 aims to bring transformational reforms in school and higher education and thus shape India into a global knowledge superpower. Built on the foundational pillars of access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability, this policy is aligned to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The NEP aims to transform India into a vibrant knowledge society and global knowledge superpower by making both school and college education more holistic, flexible, multidisciplinary, suited to 21st century needs, and aimed at bringing out the unique capabilities of each student. The vision of the policy is to develop an education system deeply rooted in Indian ethos, which has the capability to provide high quality education to compete in the global world. The curriculum and pedagogy must develop a sense of respect towards fundamental duties and Constitution of India and have a deep bond with the country. The policy also aims at developing a sense of pride and respect for the country and be responsible for human rights, sustainable development, global well-being, thereby reflecting a truly global citizen. I would now like to invite our principal, Ma'am Shaha, to address our audience, please.
Good afternoon and namaskar, dear parents who I'm seeing after so very long, and teachers, other members of the Mahadevi Birla World Academy family. I hope I'm audible. If I'm not, kindly adjust your computer audio so that you can hear clearly. We are indeed meeting after a long hiatus. And the reason why we are meeting today is because we really want to stay connected despite the pandemic that has separated us physically because we are no longer together on campus. However, the joy of learning must be kept intact. And I think over the last few months or so, ever since March 2020, we have been striving and doing our utmost to keep the fun of learning intact through our virtual classrooms. If I may have the slide on the fun of learning, please, so that I may share the vision and the purpose of NEP with greater clarity. The slide on the fun of learning. So according to Anita Karwal, who is the Secretary, School Education and Literacy, Ministry of Education, the essence of NEP emphasizes child-centered pedagogy as opposed to the exam-centric, marks-oriented approach and the fun of learning. To me and to all of us at MBWA, it means classrooms which are enabling, classrooms which teach our children competencies rather than content. I remember in my growing up years as a little girl in Kanpur, when I used to go to school and was in the kindergarten, at the end of the day, when it was time for the bell to ring, and I'm sure this is familiar with many of you who will share my experience, our teachers would tell us to put our heads down. Children, put your head down on the table, finger on your lips, walk down slowly so that you can go home quietly. These were the words that were constantly emphasized. Finger on your lips, pin drop silence, quietly, softly, silently. Well, these are the words that are the bane of education today. We no longer want our classrooms, our schools, our libraries to be silent zones. We want them to be noisy, with the noise of discussion, with the clamor of critical thought and observation, with problems being churned and solved, with group discussions, debates, dialogue being the order of the day. So the impetus is going to be no longer open your textbook to page 77 and read. Those days are gone. So now we need to look beyond the textbook so that we create an environment in the school which will enable every child to discover their unique potential, to explore the directions and dimensions of their learning and have fun creating. According to the Bloom's taxonomy, in the earlier years, our school teaching, learning, or pedagogy would be limited to getting the students to understand. So we would all say, understood children, have you understood? Is it clear? And then the next step would be to test their memory. Have you remembered? Can you recall? Can you retain? That was the next objective. However, the NEP is asking us to go a few steps forward and now look at assimilation of the learning, evaluation of the learning, which means assess for yourself whether the learning is valuable, whether the learning is insightful or not, apply the learning, and then create your own based on the paradigms and foundation of the learning that has been imparted. This is exactly what we've been trying to do since the last session, which was all about respecting diversity and building competency through our teaching learning systems at Mahadevi Birla World Academy. We have tried to have fun in our classrooms. As a teacher of elective English myself, in my class 12 classes, I have amply used films, dialogues, clips, photographs, and encouraged children to make informed choices about what they wish to create. Whether they want to create a wedding card with their wedding vows written on it after they've read a romantic piece, or whether they want to create an audio play based on the choices that they will make later on in life, having read a poem by Robert Frost, which is all about choices. So it's all about giving our children roads to creativity, pathways to creativity, maps to creativity, and giving them the freedom to explore. May I have my next slide, which is on the happiness of our creative journey. So very often we are too serious with our children and we keep telling them, open your books, exams are coming, read, learn, understand, write, take exams, go for tuitions. Well, NEP is about this. With all of us going on in age, advancing in years, with our hairlines receding, look at this unique way of creating a wig out of a mop. A happy journey is one in which you create with your heart, where your mind and soul are intertwined. This is the journey we wish to embark upon with happiness and joy in creativity, in criticality, in analysis, arising out of the sunlight that filters in, the laughter that emanates out of our classrooms, hopefully soon, once our students are back with us on campus. I now invite our coordinators, Mrs. Basu and Mrs. Mazumdar, to take you through the flow and the presentation, which is the journey of NEP. Thank you once again for joining. I'll be back with you after the presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon. As we began our study of the NEP, we realized that under the able guidance of our principal and vice principal, we are already practicing a substantial part of all that has been planned for the future. This is rewarding as well as encouraging to know that we are aligned with the vision of National Education Policy 2020. NEP 2020 envisions an education system that contributes directly to transforming our nation sustainably into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high-quality education to all. Through our lessons on visual and performing arts, literature, physical education, yoga, meditation, and sports, we try to stay connected with the Indian ethos. Our sessions on Model United Nations, regular discussion on current affairs, framing class constitution help us to develop respect towards fundamental duties and Constitution of India. Giving priority and recognition to all that is indigenous is crucial in the development of a sense of self-worth and belonging. We have tried to make the students aware of Indian music and dance by hosting the Spikmaker sessions, integrating different forms of dance, music, and art with our lessons. It is our sincere effort to develop future citizens who understand and appreciate the value of sustainable development. Providing universal access to quality education is the key to India's continued ascent, progress, and leadership on the global stage. The world is undergoing rapid changes in the knowledge landscape. With various scientific and technological advances, many unskilled jobs worldwide may get taken over by machines, while the need for a skilled workforce, particularly involving mathematics, computer science, and data science, in conjunction with multidisciplinary abilities across the sciences, social sciences, and humanities, will be in rapidly increasing demand. Indeed, with quickly changing employment landscape and global ecosystem, it is becoming increasingly important that children not only learn, but more importantly, learn how to learn. Education must thus move towards less content and more towards learning about how to think critically and solve problems, how to be creative and multidisciplinary, and how to innovate, adapt, and absorb new material in novel and changing fields. Key principles of NEP 2020. Respect for diversity and local context. Celebrating diversity and competency building was a theme of our school for the session 2019-20. It makes us proud to say that the vision mission of our school is already aligned to the vision of NEP 2020. We celebrate local festivals, customs, lives of famous personalities to inculcate respect for diversity and local context. Equity and inclusion. Equity is the process, equality is the outcome. We believe in inclusion as the cornerstone of our planning. Our lessons are designed in a manner to cater to the different learning styles of the learners to ensure inclusion of all the students in the classroom. Inclusion inspires us to move ahead with a renewed sense of success. Whether it is a sports meet or our fest organizations like Future Hope, Park English, Ektara, and Calcutta Social Project are an integral part of the MBWA family. We endorse and encourage them further by promoting their beautifully made handwork. We send them as tokens of appreciation to all visiting judges. Community participation. Can we have the slide, please? Slide number 4, we are good. Slide number 4, please. Community participation. The purpose of education system is to develop good human beings capable of rational thought and action, possessing compassion and empathy, courage and resilience, scientific temper and creative imagination, with sound ethical moorings and values. Every year, we gather food grains for the underprivileged, a fistful of rice. Students and teachers come together to contribute. This year, due to the pandemic, teachers had alone contributed in order to sponsor midday meals for children from different parts of Thakurpukur. Food ATF is another small endeavor on our behalf. Recycling of waste is one of the missions of MBWA. Use of technology. Teachers and students are using technology to replace old models of standardized rote learning and create more personalized, self-directed learning experience for the learners. Students and teachers are regularly using apps like Pixton, Jamboard, Padlet, Nearpod, Mentimeter, apps bringing augmented reality and virtual reality into the classroom to making teaching learning more interesting. I would like to share a presentation made by a commerce student of class 11 where Pixton app has been used, amalgamating art and technology. We see how Aditya and Rahul, two characters, explain the concept of bill of exchange. Emphasis on conceptual learning. Emphasis is given on conceptual learning. Learners are assessed on HOTS, application-based questions. Concepts have to be clear for a student to be able to perform well. We can say with a considerable degree of certainty that days of rote learning are a thing of the past at MBWA. Unique capabilities. Every lesson designed for the class caters to the different learning styles of the learners. We celebrate differences and nurture all that is unique. All lessons are followed by a real-life connect, enrichment activity, and higher order questions to nurture critical thinking and creativity. We believe in continuous assessment of the learners, not only through written examination, but also through various activities like project, presentation, group discussion, and so on. Lessons are designed with a measurable learning outcome, and feedbacks are taken at the end of the lesson to evaluate the learners. Next slide, please. The curricular and pedagogical structure of school education will be reconfigured to make it responsive and relevant to the development needs and interests of the learners at different stages of their development, corresponding to the age ranges of 3 to 8, 8 to 11, 11 to 14, and 14 to 18 years respectively. The new curricular and pedagogical structure of school education will therefore be guided by 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 design, consisting of the foundational stage, which includes 3 years of preschool plus grades 1 and 2, covering ages 3 to 8. Preparatory stage, including grades 3 to 5, covering ages 8 to 11. The middle school stage, which includes grades 6 to 8, covering ages 11 to 14. And high school or secondary stage, grades 9 to 12 in 2 phases, 9 and 10 in the first and 11 and 12 in the second, with an option of exiting at class 10 and re-entering in the next phase. Shift to competency-based teaching, learning, and assessment. The key overall thrust of curriculum and pedagogy reform across all stages will be to move the education system towards real understanding and towards learning by doing, and away from the culture of rote learning as it is present today. The goal will be to create holistic and well-rounded individuals equipped with the key 21st century skills. All aspects of curriculum and pedagogy will be reoriented and revamped to attain these critical goals. Competency-based education, higher order thinking questions are an essential component of the lessons. And if competencies are not built, students will not be able to answer such application-based questions. Concepts must be clear for them to create. Integration of subjects is done so that learning is holistic and complete. In all subjects, elaborate and extensive work was done on Ladakh and West Bengal in this session as art integrated project as suggested by the board. Through mask and poster making, the students of class 10 try to integrate the culture of Ladakh and West Bengal. As you see in this slide, very beautifully, the students have prepared masks. They have designed masks showing the culture of Ladakh and West Bengal. The teaching of all subjects is enhanced through innovative and experiential methods, including gamification and apps, by weaving in the cultural aspects of languages such as film, theater, storytelling, poetry, and music, by drawing connections with various relevant subjects and real-life experiences. Thus, teaching will be based on experiential learning pedagogy. Development of scientific temper. To develop the scientific temper, we encourage our students to ask questions, allow them to seek answers on their own. We try to guide and direct them to reliable sources of references by sharing links, contents, and so on. During lockdown, the students were made to perform simple experiments in science using readily available resources at home, like making circuits, identifying food adulterants by using simple kitchen ingredients, and so on. Let's watch a video showing a simple experiment of physics.
Hello everyone, my name is Shubhika Datta and I am from class 9C. Today for Science Day, I am going to be demonstrating an experiment on air pressure with the help of a burning candle and some colored water. For this experiment, I will be needing a burning candle, some colored water in a petri dish, and a glass. First, I will be placing the burning candle in the water. Now, I will be putting the glass above the candle. We can see some bubbles forming. The water level is rising slowly. The candle goes off and the water level starts rising rapidly. Why does this happen? What happens suddenly? So the reason behind it is that the flame of the candle heats the air inside and this air starts expanding. Some of the expanding air also leaves the glass. That is why we saw those bubbles initially. Now, after the flame goes off because of lack of oxygen, the air inside the glass becomes cooler and this cooler air causes contraction which leads to low pressure. Now the air surrounding the glass has high pressure. So this air presses the water inside the glass so that the pressure is equal both inside and outside the glass. So we see that the water level stops rising suddenly. Why does this happen? Because the pressure equalization has taken place and the pressure inside the glass is equal to the pressure outside the glass. Thank you.
See how we engage in flipped class mode by reversing the role of student to become peer educators and to make the class experiential and engaging. Compartmentalization of subjects are no longer practiced. There is no hard separation between curricular and co-curricular and extracurricular subjects, vocational and academic streams, science, commerce, and humanities, sports and arts, in order to ensure the unity and integrity of all knowledge and to eliminate harmful hierarchies and silos between different areas of learning. The purpose is to empower students to flexibility in course choices so that they may be free to design their own paths of study and life plans. In Mahadevi Birla World Academy, we offer a wide array of subjects to classes 11 and 12. We have fashion studies and home science in the commerce stream, as well as economics and legal studies in the science stream. Digital literacy. This pandemic has introduced us to the world of web and has taught us how to find, evaluate, and compose clear information through writing and other media on various digital platforms. Promotion of multilingual teaching. Our assemblies are conducted in all 3 languages. We celebrate Hindi Divas and Bhasha Divas every year. Values are an integral part of all lessons. 21st century learning emphasizes the 4 C's: communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. Skills that all learners need for success in school, work, and life. We strive to achieve this by creating a community of lifelong learners through integrating student-based learning, curriculum-based learning, and experiential learning. We encourage active participation of students in multiple activities like class assemblies, competitions, projects to enhance the students' learning as well as to improve the scope of application of the same in real-life situations. Students are encouraged to collaborate and communicate through teamwork in group activities, in the conversation and life skill classes on a regular basis. Critical thinking and problem solving is ensured by all motor activities like assignments with hot question, projects, art appreciation. Being responsible and held accountable for one's actions is a necessary behavior for all members of a society. There is no better place than the classroom to learn to be responsible. We try to inculcate this skill in our learners through student council, class reps, monitors. We believe this holistic approach that gradually increases in terms of its complexity contributes to its being relevant and having a meaningful impact on a student's learning capabilities. 21st century education is an amalgamation of knowledge, skills, and values supported by 21st century pedagogies. Pedagogies that support deep learning are story-based learning, experiential learning, art-integrated learning, sports-integrated learning, technology-enabled learning, and problem-based learning. Next slide, please. Shifting the emphasis from core subjects, National Education Policy also recommends the introduction of contemporary subjects such as artificial intelligence, an endeavor to replicate or simulate human intelligence in machines, for example, speech recognition, Alexa, with which all of us are familiar with, spam filters, etc. Design thinking. It is thinking out of the box to find alternative ways to view the problem and identify innovative solutions. For instance, in hotels and resorts are using bamboo toothbrushes and straw made up of papaya tubers with an eye to the conservation of environment. This is design thinking for change at its best. Holistic health, which is a balanced approach of healing, mind, body, and spirit. Data science is an interdisciplinary field that uses scientific methods, processes, algorithms, and systems to extract knowledge and insights from structured and unstructured data. The tech department at MBWA has initiated work with Raspberry Pi for students to gain hands-on experience in making simple functional app for day-to-day life, like weather app, health app, traffic app, linking it with their SMS service on the mobile phones. Next slide. It is recognized that mathematics and mathematical thinking will be very important for India's future and India's leadership role in the numerous upcoming fields and professions that involve artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science. Thus, mathematics and computational thinking will be given increased emphasis throughout the school years, starting with the foundational stage through a variety of innovative methods like puzzles and games that make mathematical thinking more enjoyable and engaging. Activities involving coding will be introduced in the middle school. In senior section, students perform hands-on activities involving craft to examine proof of theorems and lemmas in geometry. They devise games, which they can themselves play, thus examining whether they have designed a fair game and give themselves an insight into the world of probability. A fair game, I'll just show you a presentation where our students have designed a game. It's a game which consists of a dice and 6 cards, number 1 to 6. Each player has to roll a dice and select a random card from the 6 cards. If both the numbers on the card and dice are even but different, the player gets 2 points. If both the numbers on the card and dice are odd but different, the player gets 2 points. If the numbers on the card and dice are even and odd, first component greater, the player gets 0 point. If the numbers on the card and dice are odd, even, second component, can you just scroll up please, ma'am? Greater, the player gets 0 points. If the numbers are a combination of 2 and 3, 2 and 5, or 4 and 5, the player gets 5 points. If both the numbers on the card and dice are same, the player gets 5 points. So this is the game. After each turn, cards are replaced back and shuffled before the next turn. There will be 4 turns in the game before deciding the winner. Can you just come down? Can you just slide down, please, ma'am? Thank you. Next slide. Every student will take a vocational course during grades 6 to 8 and carry it forward to grades 9 and 10. That gives a survey and hands-on experience of a sampling of important vocational crafts such as carpentry, electric work, metal work, gardening, pottery making, etc., as decided by states and local communities and as mapped by local skilling needs. Next slide, please. As vocational subjects, AI has been introduced in class 8, information technology in classes 9 and 10, fashion studies and financial market management for classes 11 and 12. And we also plan to introduce early childhood care and education in the next year for those who aspire to become teachers in future. Slide number 13. All students from grade 6 to 8 will participate in a 10-day backlist periods where they intern with local vocational experts such as carpenters, gardeners, potters, artists, etc. Similar internship opportunities to learn vocational subjects may be made available to students throughout grade 6 to 12 during holiday periods. Vocational courses through online mode will also be made available. Backlist dates throughout the year for various types of enrichment activities involving arts, quizzes, sports, and vocational crafts will be encouraged. Can we have the slide on job shadowing? For the last few years, we offer job shadowing to our students of classes 11 and 12, where they can intern or interact with experts from different professions, be it IT, business management, banking and investment, law, hospitality, GIS, research scholars, journalists, dance therapists, and many more. This year, we invited our very own ex-students who have made a place in the professional world to interact with our existing students. These are some of our ex-students. And also from various professions, we have also invited the experts. The rich heritage of ancient and eternal Indian knowledge and thought has been a guiding light for the policy. The pursuit of knowledge, gyan, wisdom, pragya, and truth, satya, was considered in Indian thought and philosophy as the loftiest human goal. Knowledge of India will include knowledge of ancient India and its contributions, modern India and its successes and challenges, and a clear sense of India's future aspirations with regard to education, health, environment, etc. These elements will be incorporated in accurate and scientific manner throughout the school curriculum wherever relevant. In particular, Indian knowledge systems, including tribal knowledge, forest management, organic farming, etc. An engaging course on Indian knowledge systems will also be available to students in secondary school as an elective subject. This notion of a knowledge of many arts, or what in modern times is often called liberal arts, must be brought back to Indian education, as it is exactly the kind of education that will be required for the 21st century. A holistic and multidisciplinary education would aim to develop all aspects of human beings: intellectual, aesthetic, social, physical, emotional, and moral in an integrated manner. I would now request Ms. Majumdar to continue with the presentation.
To unmute, Ma'am Mazumdar, please unmute.
Sorry. Thank you, Mrs. Basu. Good afternoon, everyone. In continuation with the ethos of NEP 2020, let me take you through the NEP's vision on health education, changes in the assessment pattern, and report card. As the saying goes, a strong mind and sound mind is a sound body. It is essential to maintain good health and hygiene for holistic development of the student. CBSE has made health and physical education compulsory in all classes, and each day one period is allotted for yoga, PT, meditation, games, etc. Hello India. CBSE initiative has been followed in our school, and feeling proud to say that our school has received the Fit India certificate. Regular classes of PT and yoga videos were sent to students during the pandemic to keep them healthy. We had organized virtual sports day and simple games from the confinement of their home. We sensitize our students about the benefits of healthy eating and exercising. Transforming assessment for student development. There is a major change in the assessment pattern where rote learning is out and vocational training making headway into mainstream curriculum. Assessments will be shifting from summative to formative, which is more competency based. Competencies are fixed as learning outcomes by the board. Questions should be of high order thinking skills, where students should be applying their knowledge by critical thinking and analyzing. This will be the underlying principle for assessment at all levels of education. Transforming assessment and tracking student progress across school years. For benefit of students, teachers, parents, school, and the entire education system, students' progress will be tracked throughout the school years and not at the end of 10th and 12th. All students will take school examinations in grades 3, 5, and 8. The current nature of secondary school exams, including board exams, entrance exams, and the resulting coaching culture of today, are doing much harm, especially at the secondary school level, replacing valuable time for true learning and excessive exam coaching and preparation. These exams also force students to learn a very narrow band of material in a single stream, rather than allowing the flexibility and choice that will be so important in the individualized education system of the future. To reverse these harmful effects of current assessment system, board exams will be redesigned to encourage holistic development. Board exams will also be made easier in the sense that They will test primarily core capacities, competencies, rather than months of coaching and memorization. Any student who has been going to and making a basic effort in school class will be able to pass and do well on the corresponding subject board examination without much additional effort. In addition to introducing greater flexibility, student choice, and best of two attempts assessments that primarily test core capacities, which must be the immediate key reforms to all board exams. Boards may over time also develop further viable models of board exams that reduce pressure and coaching culture. Some possibilities include a system of annual or semester or modular board exams could be developed, achievement of basic learning outcomes through assessment of core concepts and knowledge from the national and local curricula, along with relevant high order skills and application of knowledge in real life situations rather than rote memorization. Assessment will have these four keys. First, define and identify the learning outcome consistently throughout the year. Select appropriate assessment measures and assess the learning outcomes. Multiple ways of assessment and rubrics should be used so that each child is assessed at his own level and potential. Confidence of the students to be maintained. At Mahadevi Birla World Academy, we use pen and paper, project, viva, presentation, enrichment activities, portfolios, field trips. These are the various tools which we allow at MBWA, and we share our rubrics with our students also. Third is analyze the results of the outcomes assessed to ensure efficient and meaningful transitions. Fourth, adjust or improve programs following the results of the learning outcomes assessed. Assessment results are worthless if they are not used. Assessment should lead to adjustment or improvements. Results of assessment should be spread out amongst other assessors to improve the result. At Mahadevi Birla World Academy, we make remediation plan, have interdepartmental meeting to assess the results of assessment. We consistently follow the PDCA cycle for continuous improvement, that is plan to check students' progress. NEP's vision stands on these five pillars: equitable, inclusive, joyful, holistic, and diverse knowledge. Next slide. Transforming assessments comprise of easy board exams, 360-degree and multi-dimensional progress report card will reduce the exam fear, promote application-based learning, and tests for competencies and overall development of students. The progress as well as the uniqueness of each learner is measured in the cognitive, affective, and psychomotive domains. The progress card will also provide valuable information on how to support each student in and out of the classroom. Artificial intelligence-based software will be developed and used by students to help track their growth through the useful years based on learning. Data and interactive questionnaires for parent and student to provide students with valuable information on the strengths, their areas of interest, and needed area to focus and to help them to make optimum career choices. Report card will consist of self as well as peer assessment, teacher as well as parent assessment to understand how the student behaves in different environments. NEP proposes more parents' involvement along with the teacher towards their wards, holistic development, and to develop a link between home and school. Next slide. Regarding guidelines for assessment, who will prepare these guidelines? Guidelines will be prepared by NCERT in consultation with major stakeholders such as boards of assessment, National Assessment Center for School Education, etc. Transformation in the assessment system by 2022-23 academic session to align with National Curriculum Framework for School Education, that is NCFSE 2020-21. NCFSE will prepare the curriculum framework after discussion with all state board stakeholders, including industries, other relevant departments, central government. This document hence shall be revisited and updated once every 5 to 10 years. The aim is to provide such quality textbooks at the lowest possible cost in order to mitigate the textbook prices on the parents and students and education system. NCRT will be taken as the nationally accepted criteria. All efforts will be made to ensure timely availability of textbooks in schools. Downloadable version of books will also be available. Next slide. No, this slide. This center will advise the school boards regarding new assessment patterns, the latest researches, the promoting collaboration between school and boards to become an instrument for sharing of best practices among school and boards, about shifting their assessment pattern towards meeting the skill requirement of the 21st century and in consonance with the stated objectives of this policy. Assessment tools, including as, of, and for learning, will also be aligned with the learning outcome capabilities and disposition as specified for each subject of a given class. Curricular initiatives. Now, these are some curricular initiatives which the board has taken. First is art and sports integrated education. Art integration is a cross-curricular pedagogical approach that utilizes various aspects and forms of art and culture as a basis for experiencing the learning concept cross subject. Art can be any form like storytelling, dance, music, photography, role play, etc. Have you ever thought of learning physics concepts using dance form of art? Yes, it is possible. Let's see a video. Meghba Boral, Kritika Roy, Ritama Sarkar, Shohana Roy, 11B. The topic was correlating rotational motion with different types of dance forms like Kathak, ballet, folk, etc. Principles as pedagogical leaders and preparation of annual pedagogical plans. Third is implementation of experiential pedagogy like arts and sports integrated, storytelling, gaming, etc. Holistic development and contextualization are the heart of traditional education, and NEP attempts to bring these values. In all stages, experiential learning will be adopted, including hands-on learning, art integrated, and sports integrated education. Story-based and gaming pedagogy, among others, as standard pedagogy within each subject and with exploration of relations among different subjects. Let's see a video where a student is learning through experiencing the concept of convection current. Utsavi Hisariya of 9D.
Greetings everyone, I'm Utsavi Hisaria from class 9D and today I'm going to demonstrate an experiment on convection currents. So for this experiment, I require a spiral paper and a burning candle. So now I place this spiral paper above the burning candle and I observe that it starts rotating on its own. This is happening because when air is heated, it expands as its molecules spread out away from each other. In other words, hot air is less dense than cool air. This means that hot air will rise above cool air, and that's what exactly you are seeing with this spinning snake. As the hot air rises up, cooler air flows in to replace it, but then the cool air gets heated by the candle and the whole thing repeats. This cycle of moving air is called convection current. So this is exactly what is happening with this spiral paper. Thank you.
Next time you see your daughter doing experiments at home or dancing during study time, don't stop her by saying, "Open your books and study." She is actually studying, learning to experience, and that will remain with her throughout her life. All subjects and corresponding assessments, beginning with mathematics, could be offered at two levels, with students doing some of their subjects at the standard level and some at the higher level. The board exams in certain subjects could be redesigned to have two parts. One part of an objective type with multiple questions and multiple choice questions, and other of the descriptive type. Two levels of mathematics have been introduced. English and Sanskrit will also be introduced at two levels from 2021 to 2022. Next slide. And vocational subject, we have already started 12 hours of AI in class 8. Ensuring competencies-based education in schools. Learning outcomes which are given by board should be adopted by CBSE schools. As explained in the previous slides, that competencies like critical and creative thinking should be practiced in all schools through subject enrichment activities, case-based and analytical questions in the question papers. It is proposed to set up a National Assessment Center, PARAK, Performance Assessment Review and Analysis of Knowledge for Holistic Development, a standard body that fulfills the basic norms, standards, and guidelines for students' assessment and evaluation for all recognized schools and boards in India. To incorporate these changes in the education system, teachers are required to undergo mandatory training on experiential learning and competency-based education. You'll be happy to know that we teachers have completed this training and have been certified by CBSE. Next slide. Some subject enrichment activities which are initiated by board. First is Aryabhat Ganit Challenge. Aryabhat Ganit Challenge was initiated by board to enhance mathematical abilities among students in the year 2019. In order to reach out to maximum students across the country, the board will host the Aryabhat Ganit Challenge on Diksha platform this year. CBSE Heritage Quiz. CBSE Heritage Quiz is conducted every year to raise awareness about preserving human heritage and diversity. It is an attempt of the board to motivate the future generations of this country towards efforts required to protect and conserve our vast cultural heritage. Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat has been one of the major flagship programs of the government to bring in cultural integration of country as a part of the vision of to build a new India by 2022. CBSE Science Challenge. As an initiative to generate curiosity, inquiry, and high order thinking amongst learners, the board is organizing the CBSE Science Challenge for students of classes 8 to 10. A science exhibition is a powerful tool that engages students in learning new facts. It provides a platform for the students to use their scientific knowledge and bring the best invention from their brains. The Khelo India program has been introduced to revive the sports culture in India at the grassroots level by building a strong framework for all sports played in our country and establish India as a great sporting nation. Art and culture are the essential aspects of our overall development. They foster the creative inquiry, and also assist in refining skills. Our students at Mahadev Birla World Academy are engaging with all these rich activities for experiential learning. Next slide. NEP 2020 proposes schools to engage with parents and community for a positive learning environment. So, dear parents, We welcome your active participation towards your world's high quality education. We are proud to have parents like you who are an integral part of the school and take keen interest in the teaching learning process of the children. In fact, today's webinar is one such attempt to build bridges. We do involve you all in our all various events and activities, be it sport, conducting workshops, etc. We do seek your support in future too. Now, we will present some of our entries for the National Education Policy Contest, showing how we are in sync with the ethos and learning outcomes envisioned by NEP under the able guidance of our Principal Ma'am, Mrs. Shaha, and Vice Principal Ma'am, Mrs. Ghosh. First is the Food ATF, which is our signature community project. Small action can lead to big positive changes in the society. Food ATF is one such endeavor taken by our school to make a small difference in the local community. NEP's vision is closer integration with community involving parents. Food ATF has been constructed with the same vision in mind to ensure a better world and responsible citizen. We are thankful to all parents for making it successful and welcome many more such close community collaboration to build strong bridges and develop compassion. At Mahadevi Birla World Academy, students donate food which is distributed to the underprivileged children of the locality so that no child goes to bed hungry. The main objective is to create awareness about hunger as a global problem, develop compassion towards the underprivileged with a view to ensure zero hunger in the local community. The outcome of this small endeavor is sensitization about preservation of resources, healthy diet, and cleanliness, and to develop skills such as collaboration, time management, and leadership and teamwork.
Tanushree ma'am, just pause, let them scroll through, let the parents see the outcomes on the
Yes, ma'am.
slide.
Yes, ma'am. So these are the outcomes which the children are learning, that is the sensitization, preservation of resources, healthy diet, and cleanliness. And the skills which they are learning are organization time, management, and leadership in the teamwork. Yes, please. Next is the digital literacy. Digital literacy has become very important in our lives. During the pandemic, technology has helped us keep going. So it's the necessity of the hour to be digitally literate. Can we have that? Digital literacy includes information literacy, media literacy, and technology literacy. The objective was develop information, media, and technology literacy among the students. First is the information literacy. Now, since most of the time we are online, now so many of informations are coming to us. Now it's very important to decide which information is correct and which is fake. So it should be checked for its authenticity and accuracy. Second, to teach them to think critically about the intentions of the advertising and commercial websites. Integrate the information literacy skill not only in the regular class but also introduce as a vocational training programs, classes, professional courses. And we plan to introduce our students to the filter bubble, the echo chamber, the Google reverse image search for them to check the authenticity of news forwards on the WhatsApp and other media sources. Media literacy, this includes a child to teach, to deconstruct the media message and to know what is the perspective, who has created the message, who is the sender and for whom it is created. Students can watch good movies or video clips with animation on the audio visual media. Many quizzes, educational games, all are available on the media. Technology literacy, the child should know how to go about it, how to go about the e-learning. Online training is suggested to give a child the power to develop the technology literacy. Next entry was from art and culture. Art and culture are essential aspects of our overall development. They foster the creative inquiry and also assist in refining skills. The objective was to provide students a creative aesthetic experience of the unique visual material culture of India and develop values of conservation, protection of environment, resources, and heritage of the country. These were the learning outcomes: boost confidence, helps in socializing, learn to appreciate art and culture, experience in design, art, crafts. 10 days bagless periods for students. This has been mentioned earlier by my colleague, Mrs. Basu. Let's see how students at Mahadevi Birla World Academy have made bagless days on campus come true. They have been doing this project work and the cognitive benefits. Please scroll down one. So this is how they are spending the bagless days on the campus. With this, we come to the end of today's presentation. In the words of John Dewey, we do not learn from experience. We learn from reflecting on experience. The principle of learning by doing through practices will be our primary goal and objective in the new academic session starting from April 2021. Indeed, very exciting times are ahead for all of us, and we move towards experiences, competencies, seamless learning, hybrid formats, and adding a physical dimension to all learning. As John Dewey rightly said, give the pupil something to do, not something to learn. And the doing is of such a nature as to demand thinking. Learning naturally results.
I'll just make a little correction. The new session is session 21-22. We have just gone through 2021. Now we'll start with 21-22.
Yes, April 2021. Thank you. Have a nice day. Over to you, Mrs. Ghosh.
Thank you, Ma'am Shaha, Ma'am Basu, and Ma'am Mazumdar for the detailed presentation on how NEP 2020 seeks to bring a holistic change in the education system of India. And we at Mahadevi Birla World Academy take immense pleasure to say that we are in sync with the ethos and learning outcomes envisioned by NEP. Dear parents, for your valuable suggestions, a feedback form is being circulated in the chat section. It's a Google form that we request you to fill up at the end of this webinar. And please to copy the link from the chat section. The link will be live till 12 noon tomorrow. And it will also be circulated in the class WhatsApp groups. And please do fill it up as we await your valuable feedback. And also please feel free to write to us on the principal's official ID, which is principal@mbwa.org.in. The ID will also be shared on the chat section. Please do make a note of it, parents. And we can take some questions from the parents if you have any query. You can either raise your hand or you can put the question in the chat section.
So that was quite a long and exhaustive presentation. I do hope that you enjoyed listening and assimilated whatever was presented. If you have any questions, feel free. We can take a couple of questions today. And if anybody wants to speak up and give us a little bit of motivation and inspiration with your kind words, it would be more than welcome. You're constantly hearing our voices. We would also like to hear from you. So if you would wish to speak to us, like I said, boost our morale, because it's been a very difficult phase for us to navigate this entire session online. We are new to this. We have struggled at times, but I think together we have scaled the bridge and climbed every mountain. So thank you once again for your support. we would really like to hear from you, whether it's a question, whether it's a feedback, whether it's some appreciation. It would work wonders for our morale.
Could I say a few words? I'm Dr. Shalmali Chakrabarti, mother of Srinvanti Sen of class 12F. And I would like to thank you, first of all, for inviting me to this webinar. And the first thing I would like to say is congratulations to MBWA for taking up all the efforts to bring up an all-round development for the child in general, and in a literal way. That's what I mean, because following up the national education policy and going through the CBSE rules, NCRT books and everything, you are doing really a wonderful job. And I've been following my child in the school, whatever she is doing and all. And the best thing is you expose the students to such a big field, so such a big and diverse study field. So that is what I like the best. And you really encourage them to take up all the courses, vocational courses and everything. So congratulations, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. This really, really motivates us, because it's been an ordeal for us to keep staring at the screen instead of looking at our children. It's not been easy to talk to a screen, to get everybody's attention. Thank you so much. I think together, I think we've managed to beat the pandemic and beat the blues of the pandemic. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, can I,
yes,
am
please.
I audible? Can I
yes,
talk?
You're audible. Yes, please.
I would comment in two parts. The first part is congratulatory. That is, the planning that has gone behind this exercise has been extremely laudable. Nothing happens without a great plan. But the intent is the first half of it. The second half is implementation. And that comes with enormous challenges. We know that. As far as MBW is concerned, the steps, the baby steps that have been initiated are wonderful. I personally have conviction that they would scale up in the months ahead remarkably. But at the same time, what worries is there's just one MBW in Kolkata. If you look at the number of schools in the city, the number of schools in metro cities, in urban and semi-urban areas, you'd find that, leave alone implementation, nothing of the plan has been put on paper. That's a concern, because a movement takes off in multiplicity. It will only happen when all institutions across a region kind of join hands and follow a similar plan of action. This is a concern. And perhaps the even more piercing concern personally to me is the fact that changing education would involve not just schools. It would involve homes, and even more importantly, the higher education infrastructure beyond school. And I'm afraid I really do not know how far we, that's as a nation, not MBW, we as a nation, we as Indians, would be able to bring about multi-level mindset changes and significant mindset changes. I'll share a very small instance. 2 years ago, when we relocated to Kolkata from another city, that's when we got our daughter admitted to MBWA, we were looking for a couple of good tutorials to help coach our child. And we went to the top 4 or the top 5, and all of them rejected us because my daughter didn't intend studying engineering or medical. She didn't have an aspiration to sit for IIT JEE or NEET. And that on our face was construed as inability and inferior quality. Now, this is a reflection of a mindset that cuts through a large portion of India. And unless that changes, and that changes fast, it will be difficult to, see outcomes which are meaningful. And fast is very important, because if we take 3 years as a nation to change, all technologies will probably change by then. But nonetheless, a tremendous beginning, terrific planning, and all our best wishes for its successful implementation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roy. I couldn't agree with you more. because it's a vision that has come to us from the HRD ministry and from the government of India. Many years ago, when the NCF 2005 was released, it was started as an experiment. It faltered in, like you said, the changing attitudes and the changing of mindsets. And then after many subsequent years, it was done away with. I do hope and pray that the same doesn't happen with the vision of NEP. And it's not 3 years. The vision trajectory that they have given it is 15 years. So the timeline is 2020 to 2035 for things to change, for education to be more liberal, for colleges to have frequent and flowing movement, interdisciplinary connects, so that there are no rigid compartmentalizations between subjects. Parent mindsets have to change. So it's a long, long road ahead. But the only reason for hope is that we have good people where education is concerned. We have Manoj Ahuja, we have Anita Karwal, who are civil servants, who are diplomats, and who know their business. Yes, the implementation will prove a challenge because not every school has informed leaders or informed visionary teachers on board. And we're also talking about rural schools, which may be hugely challenged where technology, where resources, where infrastructure is concerned. So they're trying very hard to level opportunities, to level infrastructural requirements. We can only hope and move ahead with what you called baby steps. But yes, I think we are aligned in thought and vision, and we're trying to move ahead, keeping the holistic development and the citizenship training, the grounding of our students. That will stay. NEP or not, that is here to stay. That the education should be holistic, should be wholesome, and also should be rooted in tradition with an eye to modernity, as well as integrating arts, integrating sports, integrating a dynamic vision that, with or without NEP, is here to stay. So thank you so much for
our very best wishes to you, ma'am, and to the entire team of teachers, without
thank
whom
you so much.
none of these changes would have really taken
None
off
of
the
this.
ground.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, we have a parent, Tamanna Hirawat.
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Good afternoon, teachers and principal, ma'am. I'm Ishu Hirawat, Tamanna Hirawat's mom, who's a student of 11C, Commerce. So first, I'd like to thank you very much. This pandemic, it was a very tough situation, and you took my daughter and I believe all the students through really well. You kept them engaged, not only with books, but with other activities as well. And in spite of staying home, you gave them international platform exposures, which was just wonderful. Sending students to the University of Pennsylvania, Wharton, was a very different experience, and it was a global investment program. So, giving this platform, which is not just national or about CBSC, but, exposure worldwide, is something very few schools in Calcutta do. I'm very thankful to all of you for this. Again, University of Arizona was another amazing experience, and being involved with the student, because it was the pandemic, we got to know as a parent that, yeah, what you all are doing. When they just go to school and come back, we miss our part on this, so we got involved, and that was amazing experience, because they did a business model on home care products. So there was great involvement. So that was amazing. We got to relive our school days. So thank you for that.
Thank you
Again,
so
the
much.
Bidzeen business newspaper that you've come up with in today's time, when as parents, we've also kind of stopped reading newspapers, because everything is on gadgets. So, that's a very good exposure. Again, children are working hard, reading newspapers, reading headlines, and getting back to something that they were missing, So, and every time their eyes are so swollen up because of everything being online, and that, so when they're working with paper and pen, it feels really good.
Yes.
So that is a very good thing that the school has come up with. And next, there is an ongoing CBSC Young Junior Championship.
Yes. Skilling championship.
Yeah,
The junior
even,
skills championship.
So yeah, the children, I believe, what I got to know about it, they'll be attending workshops and all with that.
Yes.
So even that, so this exposure that the school is giving and guiding them through, this is very important, I believe, because marks may not matter after a certain point of time. And you as a principal and the teachers and the coordinators, they believe beyond marks. So this is really very nice Because I've always seen, even when we were kids, you know, my parents or my teachers used to tell me, you need marks. They were not so interested कि आप और क्या कर रहे हो, whether you're doing something else or not. So this is very nice, and I'm really thankful to all of you for this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Actually, we've also grown up. So we've also learned to learn all over again. And this online platform has leveled us. Not only has it leveled us, it's also opened our doors, because earlier we were limited by location. Economics was a problem. Going from one place to the other was a problem. But just look at the ease with which we've connected today. Normally, to have such a great inflow of parents, there are 55, 60 of us together today in the afternoon chatting, comfortably sitting in our own spaces. This is what I think the online medium technology has given us. And I will hold on to this to build solid bridges and to give more such learning experiences to both teachers and students. Even for us, we have got so many training opportunities which we would earlier not go for, because again, you know, we were limited by our schedules. School ke baad fir se jana hai training ke liye, ghar kaise sambhalenge. So now that is all worked out evenly because it's all online. So that push has come in, and somehow that fear of technology has really gone, and we've all become children all over again, learning to learn, learning to discover. And once again, thank you for being with us on this journey. I think one more question or feedback, and then we wrap up. So after, if there's one more insight, and then we'd
Yes,
like to
we
wrap
have
up.
Ma'am Mazumdar who's raised her hand.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon, Principal Ma'am
Good
and the
afternoon.
teachers. I would just like to share my experience with the school. Today you are talking of NEP and holistic development, but I have been seeing holistic development that the school has been carrying on for the last 6 years since my daughter has joined the school. MBWA has not been great just in carrying out academics, but in holistic development, in helping each and every student pursue their passion. Today, my daughter is living her dream, and that is all because of MBWA.
Don't say that. Spriha is, you know, she's our heart. So I'm so glad you trusted us with her. And I tear up every time when you say this, because our children are so special. Not just Spriha, but all your children, I believe they're mine. So every time someone, I remember Rupanjana, father sitting here with us today, whenever she had that little fear about elocution, there were times when I've just pushed them. And maybe they felt I'm heartless, but I think that push sometimes is very important. Very, very important to give them that push sometimes.
Ma'am, today I can see my daughter to be a very confident girl who is ready to adapt to any situation. And she tells me, Mom, this is because of my school. My school has taken me for the tournaments, for the competitions, and we have learned how to adapt and adjust to each and every situation. I find her so confident. I don't have any worries now. I know that school has made her ready to go out and conquer in the real world. And that is what I have got from the school. And
Thank you so much.
All because of, ma'am, your leadership and the teachers, because without the brilliant leadership of the teachers and your principal, ma'am, this would have never been possible.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
The school, and congratulations once again, and we always wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. So maybe see Otindru sir smiling a little bit. He's always very serious, always thinking that parents are there to kind of corner us some way or the other. But I think our parents have really stood by us, and we worked as a family. Our teachers also, we've gone through terrible times, whether it was uncertainty about the medium, whether it was uncertainty about the fees. But I think life has carried on. And our teachers, I think they've really, really rallied around. So have parents. And I think the pandemic was just another little bump that we kind of crossed with all the ease, all the goodness, all the laughter, all the good humor, thanks to all the support that we got. So thank you once again for joining in this afternoon. Please do fill in the feedback form, because we would need it later on if CBSE asks us whether we've done anything with regard to NEP. This is all part of our planning. And the link will also be shared with you on the class groups, as well as the recording. So we've recorded this episode, and we will make the recording link available to all parents. Those who have missed it this afternoon will also have access to it. Thank you once again. Please wish the school and the school family well, because board exams are around the corner. We start our practical exams from tomorrow. Please wish the children well. Pray for them, because they've been away from school for 1 whole year almost, and they're brave now to sit for the exam, to sit for the practicals. I'm sure your blessings and our good thoughts will see them come out of the exam with flying colors. Thank you so, so much for joining. May I take your
Thank
leave
you, ma'am.
this afternoon?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
Thank you, dear parents, for taking
you,
time
ma'am.
out
Thank you, ma'am.
to participate in this webinar. And lastly, I would also like to thank our technical team for their help and support in organizing this. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Thank you.
Have a
ma'am.
good day.